All right, guys, it's time to talk about Edgar Wright's newest film, Last Night in Soho. An aspiring fashion designer moves to London in order to attend a prestigious college of fashion. Things take a strange turn as she starts to have dreams transporting her back to the 1960s, where she has uncovered a murderer who has been at large to her present day. Can she solve the mystery and bring the murderer to justice, or will she wind up as his latest victim? I've been super duper excited to see Last Night in Soho. Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors, and if you ask me, the dude is batting 1,000 when it comes to, directing a film. You got Shaun of the Dead, you got Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, The World's End, and you have Baby Driver, and all these films are so fantastic and enjoyable on each of their own levels, but they all highlight Edgar Wright's just super talented ability to just put out great films no matter what genre. He's recently kind of leaned away from just pure comedy and started experimenting a little bit. So like with Baby Driver, a little bit more of a heist film, which was a lot of fun. It still had comedic elements. And Last Night in Soho kind of does the same thing. There's still some comedic elements, but it's a psychological horror, something totally different than anything Edgar Wright has done. And, he kind of sheds a lot of his trademark style, but he discovers a whole new side of his filmmaking that I was absolutely in love with watching this film. The color palette's great. I think he gets a lot of great performances out of the cast, and the cast is something I would love to talk about because it's led by Thomasin McKenzie, who plays Ellie, and she, you might be familiar with her from Jojo Rabbit. She was just in this past summer's M. Night Shyamalan film Old, and I am just slowly growing to appreciate her acting, and I think she's a great up-and-comer, and to kind of not be opposite of, but to be in the same film where Anya Taylor-Joy, who a lot of people will know from another M. Night Shyamalan movie, Split and Glass, and she's also been in the Netflix limited series The Queen's Gambit, which was very popular. Anya Taylor-Joy is another phenomenal actress, and she's really come to her own the last couple of years, and I always enjoy seeing her. So having these two fresh faces kind of coming up, it was fantastic to see. And whenever they were on screen, that you're drawn to their presence. They really command the screen when they're on. One thing Edgar Wright does very well is putting together a great cast. On top of Thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy, you also get Matt Smith as a character named Jack. And you get a nice appearance by Terence Stamp in this as well. And this whole cast, everybody is kind of mysterious. You don't know who or what is going on in this film. There's a lot that Edgar Wright does to set this film up that makes you go, this is interesting, but I'm very curious where this is all going. And as the premise is, you have a girl, Ellie, played by Thomasin McKenzie, who is able to, in her dreams, see the 1960s, and in particular, this one girl named Sandy, who is played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and she's kind of seeing her life back in the 60s, and this girl was also a kind of up-and-comer, and she wanted to be a singer, and while Ellie wants to be a fashion designer, she's very taken by the way this girl dresses. She's very taken by the period of the 1960s. It's kind of, she feels she's living out of time. That's the era she would much prefer to live in. So she's kind of getting to live that life vicariously through these dreams she's having. And as we learn more about Sandy through Ellie's eyes, you see that Ellie's kind of wrapped up with a character named Jack, played by Matt Smith, who a lot of people know from Doctor Who. And so there's a lot of mystery around there, and some murders start happening, and we wonder, well, what happened to this girl so many years later? We don't know where she is. There's a character played by Terence Stamp that seems to remember all that happened in this time frame that Ellie's gone back to. And so that kind of starts this mystery of, okay, so is this the murderer from the 60s that she's going to have to try to take down in the present day? I'm not going to spoil that. I'm not going to give that away. You need to go see this movie. There's a lot of threads that Edgar Wright gets us to start pulling at. And as we go through these different threads and we see some more of what's happening back there, we start to piece together what really happened in the 60s. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't see the end results coming. Edgar Wright definitely lays out the breadcrumbs for us to kind of discover that. And if you miss those clues early on, I mean, you figure out as things get put together. But I think Edgar Wright weaves a very interesting narrative here. Is it his best film to date? I'm not going to say it is, but I was very entertained. I was never bored. It does get slow at times, but like I said, never bored. Things, it's a lot of character development on top of this mystery. Ellie's got a lot of other stuff going on in her life other than just transported to the 1960s. And there's an aspect to her character that's very interesting on why she's having these dreams. And I think that was a very bold choice. And if you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. They set this up within the first 5-10 minutes that this is something that Ellie may be accustomed to doing, and I thought that was a very interesting choice. There's not much I have negative to say about it, other than, if you're not a fan of horror or the psychological thriller, you might want to take a pass on this. It might not be for you, but if you're an Edgar Wright fan, if you're a film fan in any capacity, I think you should check this out. It's a lot of fun. It gets to some really weird, dark places, and then again, you have that mystery woven through there to kind of tie all this stuff together. And in total, the package is a lot of fun, and I, am excited to add that to my collection of Edgar Wright films. Like I said, I don't think he's made a bad movie, and this one is the same case. It's not a bad movie. Is it my favorite? No, but I think it is worthy of Edgar Wright, and it shows that he's got a range that not a lot of people who are comedic directors get to showcase. And the fact that he did get to showcase this and wrote it, mind you, I think it's some great writing in this, that he is a very talented filmmaker and doesn't get enough credit. I'm not saying he doesn't get any, because he does. He is a very well-respected director, has a very keen eye for telling different types of stories. Edgar Wright has the ability to tell interesting stories within similar confines that we're used to, like the buddy cop movie or the zombie movie. He can take those traditional types of films that we all enjoy and then do something completely different with it. And I think that's what makes Edgar Wright a very special director that I appreciate very much. I'm giving this film a B+. I love this film. It's a great film. It's definitely a top tier film of the year. I hope a lot more people go check this out, because I don't think a lot of people did when it came out in theaters. It kind of got buried in the buzz of some other stuff. But I think if you get a chance to see this, you definitely should. Yeah. I guess I ain't got much else to say. Like I said, I like this movie. I don't know what else I could say about this. What's your favorite Edgar Wright movie? Leave that down in the comments below. I'm very curious to see what other people's favorite Edgar Wright movies are. I won't tell you mine. I'm sure someday I will. So yeah, that's it for me today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. If you did, like, subscribe, all that crap. Even leave a thumbs down if you didn't enjoy it. I mean, any interaction is good interaction, I guess. But yeah, until next time, I'll be seeing you.